Hi all, it's Kate, and for this video I'm going to do a VR to Brian and why I do tarot. I'm using my custom-made tarot deck, ones that I created for myself, and I'll talk about that in a second. And this deck is not for sale, unfortunately. I do not want to get in trouble with DC, Warner Brothers, Marvel Comics, and the other independent comics that I have used in this. And I try not to use any of the fan art in this one, but I wanted to do this for so long because there's no great comic decks out there. So you can't save the world alone, and this is the reason why I do tarot. I do tarot because it allows me to really think through problems, refines my process, gives me the ability to create a narrative around things that I need to kind of figure out. And this card really emphasizes that, you know, sometimes we need to go outside and find others, especially within the tarot community, that resonate with us on a spiritual or even a connection through the cards. So why did I start tarot? I started tarot in the 1980s, a part of my exploration of finding out where I belong, what type of community I belong in, and a part of it was my witchy, my new age community, and I couldn't reflect that in my daily practice because I was supposed to be this good Catholic girl who went to Catholic high school, that had Catholic friends, that did a lot of things for her church. And although that was my reflection of myself and what I wanted my community to know, but deep down inside I was not a Catholic, and I knew it. I knew it from an early age, and this was trying to connect me with that sense of divine. Although in the beginning, of course, and the reason why I have the King of Cups is because I wanted to know who the love of my life was. Of course, it has to be Jason Momoa's Aquaman. And I wanted to meet a tall, dark stranger underneath a lamppost at midnight and would ride off into the sunset together. So this is where I started from, and I learned from someone that I was on a trip with about tarot, and she would say that the court cards were a representation of who I meet in my personal life. So if I got the King of Cups in a reading, man, I'd be married to Jason Momoa in a heartbeat. So that's how I came into tarot, and that's how I originally first started reading. Because once I got home from my trip, I went right down to, I guess it was Barnes & Noble, picked up my first RWS deck and kept it hidden from my family and friends. So that was it. And I didn't read for anybody else, not really. I didn't feel like comfortable sharing it with my family and friends that I did read tarot. So it mostly was for myself. It was storytelling. It was that type of process. So in other words, I would have Aquaman married to Lady Thor here, and they would go riding off in a gallant steed or something like that. So and yes, I've changed how I read cards because I no longer look to the outward representation of the deck. So I no longer read this as, oh, I'm going to be married to Jason Momoa's Aquaman next week. I really do. I am more reflective about my reading. So the Queen of Cups comes into this. I now am more centered and in touch with my emotions, and I'm able to channel that power in Thor's hammer here, because this is Lady Thor. And so I'm more reflective in my practice now. And this is where the High Priestess comes in. It's a way for me to connect to the divine, the divine feminine. and it's has the ability to give me purpose and a sense of direction to where I want to go in life, and how I read for others. And this is how I read for others as well. And let me talk a little bit about that. Over the years that I've been reading, I have read for others, and I don't charge. And that became a problem for me because people would just call me and say, hey, Kate, do a reading for me right now. And I'm like, no, I have to call you back. And they say, no, I need you to read for me now. And it would kind of upset me, because I'm doing this as a favor, of a way of giving back to a community and not being taken advantage for. And I decided after that not to read for people that ask me directly. And now I usually say, I don't have time for it. So they stop calling me for free readings. I even began to hand out the tarot reader that I go to. Or I suggest maybe you should find a tarot reader near you, or a good therapist, and pay for your readings. Maybe you'll appreciate them more. So this is, my friend and I really came up with an idea about who Isis is, because we were talking about getting them in a reading when we've been asking the same question over and over again. And when we notice that when we ask the same questions over again, she comes up and she says, this is the shut the F up deck card. When you get this, it says, listen, I've given you all the advice that I can give you. I don't have anything more. So shut the F up and stop asking, because you have all the answers inside you. So just saying, this was quite fun. We were laughing about this, and it was a great experience for both of us. Why do I continue with Tarot? Eight of Pentacles. Because the more you learn, the more connections you can find in a deck, and the different things that you can find out about yourself. So the more I practice, the better I get. It's like this young Diana. She's practicing with her sword, and later she'll become Wonder Woman. So her practice makes perfect. In the end, why do I do tarot? I do tarot because it's a great experience moving forward. It's just like the Knight of Cups. They're going to do action. It's empowering, and it's a great way to work through issues, not of a personal nature, but I've used this for project management. I've used this for storytelling. I've used this for all kinds of things that come into my life that are not necessarily tarot related. And I love doing this. This is, such a great joy, and it brings me joy to do. So thank you very much, Brian, for having this VR, this question. And I hope you enjoy the VR. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section below. Thanks, and have a great day.